Welcome, I'm David.
I'm Lindsay,
And this is Desmonds Donders.
Hello, and this is possibly going to be a long series of chats or a short series of chats. I'm not quite sure yet. We've been thinking about doing stories from our caravan days for quite a while, so we thought we'd tell you the story of when Craig was smaller, a lot smaller. We think he was about 6 or 7. We had a caravan holiday in the Midlands. We were basically showing them where we used to live in Bridgnorth when we first got married. And we ended up at Blist Hill Open Air Museum. Now, bearing in mind that the Scottish schools were on holiday, but the English schools weren't, and when we went to Blist Hill, there was quite a few busloads of kids from schools going round the museum, and basically they all looked bored to death. So, back to Craig. We were going in and out all the exhibits, bearing in mind it is an open air museum and there are people there acting out the parts of, one of them was the canal locks keeper, and there was watchmakers, and I think there was boat makers and all sorts of people there, and they were quite keen on kids asking questions. We think Craig was either 6 or 7. Craig went into the watchmaker's shop and the guy was mending watches and stuff, and Craig asked him, "What are you doing?" And the boy told him, and then Craig kept asking questions and the boy kept answering them, and all these bigger kids, older kids, were looking at Craig as if he just jumped off a different planet. They thought, "Oh, he's asking questions." So they never did. And then we went to see I think it was the iron casting they were going to do, but that day they were only actually setting the moulds up to do the iron casting. They weren't actually going to cast anything that day. And Craig was asking them questions too. And then none of the other kids were asking, and Craig just kept asking questions. And the people seemed quite delighted at the fact that this little blonde chap was asking all the questions that these big kids should be asking, because obviously when they went back to school they had to answer questions on their day out. And then we went to see the canal lockkeeper's cottage, which was tiny, and Craig was asking questions about where everybody slept, and realised that, it was a 2 bedroom house and there was possibly 6 or 7 kids in it. And he said, "Where'd you put them all?" And the woman says, "Well, actually, when we get fed up, we put them in the canal." And Craig was horrified at this, and they said, "She's only joking, Craig. They're obviously in beds of some sort or another." And then for some reason he wanted to go back to the watchmaker's shop because the tiny little instruments the guy was using were intriguing him. So we went back and the boy said, "Oh no, not you again." He says, "Go talk to the butcher. He'll love you because you're just full of questions." And Craig looked at me and said, "Mum, where's the butcher's?" I said, "I don't know. We haven't got that far yet." So we went round and we had a chat with him as well. And he said, "Who sent you?" And Craig said, "The watchmaker." And he went, "Oh, he always sends me the noisy ones." And Craig just laughed and thought this was really funny. And we had a really good day out, but mainly I think Craig did because people were actually taking him seriously, and he was asking questions and they were quite happy to answer them. Well, apart from the watchmaker, because the second round of questions that Craig asked them were basically the same as the first. But for someone that was 6 or 7, he had a good day. Sorry, David's just reminded me of something I've forgotten about. There was a baker's shop there as well, and there was a horse just trotting around loose, which I wasn't that keen on because I don't like horses. And it just walked up to the baker's, and the baker's had the stable doors where half was shut, the bottom half was shut, and the top half was open. And the horse just basically stuck its head in the door looking for its treat, and it got one and then it left. And Craig thought this was hysterical, so we went into the baker's and Craig insisted that we had apple turnovers for tea. But we had a really good day out. We really did, and I think Craig enjoyed it. So that's our story of Blist Hill. We had a day at the Iron Bridge, a day at the Potteries, and a day at Blist Hill. I think we bought an explorer's pass or something that got us in all the places. And we actually went to the Potteries place, and there was a young chap in there who was an apprentice thrower, I believe, and he was actually making a coffin, just a tiny little one, but he was making a coffin, and Craig was fascinated by this. So it was a good holiday. It was a long time ago, but he wasn't really interested in where we lived, but he was interested in going to Bridgenorth and seeing the steam trains. And, boys will be boys. So that's our story of Craig at Blist Hill. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you again soon.
Well, we're back in the doorway, and that can only mean one thing. I've got a bit to say. And, this isn't just me. Other people have said it, and as a reason for why things happen. And, the more I think about it, the more it's true. It's bright and sunny here. Bit of cloud in the sky, but nice and sunny and warm. So what am I going to go on about? Well, I was trying to make you jealous talking about the weather, but I'm hoping that you've got some nice weather as well. In fact, by the time you see this, I'm hoping we've all had some nice weather and still having some, but that's by the by. It's to ask why we are living our lives through jealousy. As a species, we seem to be jealous of what other members of our species have got. And I know that can be said to apply to a lot of species, but as humans, we can control that. Why are we jealous of what the other man has got? And what are we jealous of? To be honest, I don't know. You see, I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous of all those people with lots of money who've ruined their lives to obtain that money and ruined other people's lives to obtain that money. I tell you what I am jealous of. Anyone who gets to spend more time in the countryside and in nature than I do. Fair enough. But when you think about it, simple things come down to covetousness, coveting somebody else's property, life, whatever. Jealousy. There's been no cars about till I turned this bloody camera on. You might not hear it because I've got the mics on with the fluffy things, but there's a car just gone past. Anyway, I'm not jealous of him. Why? Because he's been parked up at the other end of the loch and he's now probably going home. And, what people say that the reason people who park up like I do, and Lindsay, too, the reason, who get annoyed about it, etc., are because they're jealous because they can't do it. That could be true, but it could be true of almost anything. Russia is certainly coveting and is jealous of Ukraine's resources and trying to take them for themselves. A little bit simplistic, there's a bit more to it than that. Israel. I don't know that this one is jealousy, this is pure stupidity. But then, back to the small things. It's all, sadly, could be said, because we live our lives in jealousy. So I'm asking today that we put that aside and we try and live our lives in care and love. Help people instead of coveting what they have. Some bloke's supposed to have said this thousands of years ago, I suppose. But look at them. Look at the religious houses, shall we say, the various religions. We hear that they're there to help people. Between them, the Pope or the Vatican, and what we've seen of the church vaults in Britain, excuse me, I caught my hand on something. I'll have to go and sort that out in a minute. But what Lindsay and I have seen, Lindsay in particular, from a visit to a cathedral in Britain, is the vaults underneath are stuffed, absolutely stuffed with gold. Now, if that had been converted to cash, well, indeed, the church could be helpful and caring. But is that just me coveting their gold? Not really, because I wouldn't want it. We're not well off. I'm bleeding rather badly. No, I'm bleeding rather well. Oh dear, I'm going to have to edit this. We're not well off, but we are comfortable. Yeah, we should be comfortable in full retirement. It all depends what those bloody people who we've just elected get up to. As people know, I have my favourite party, which had no hope of getting a majority in Westminster. But who knows what will happen on that part in the future. There's another thing. I'm sorry, England, you're very jealous of the resources we have up here in Scotland. To that end, you're not going to let us go without a fight. So I, for one, don't look forward to that. Anyway, let's go back to enjoying Loching. I certainly am, especially now we've got some good weather. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy the video.
So, I haven't got the pocket. David thinks he's left it at home. Hang on, there's a car coming. So, this is Saturday, the 22nd of June, and sorry, I'm going to have to keep an eye out for the cars. We're at Loching. David has been here since Wednesday, and I've already been for a walk down beside the beach part, and I decided to go this way so I could, yeah, that's maybe better, so I could actually go and see the castle. I didn't stop, mainly for two reasons. And the two reasons are idiotic people and their parking. So there's a couple of the passing places have got cars on them. No great shakes there, because that happens here all the time. There's people with tents and boxes of beer, wine, having fires. And the one lad I spoke to already sounded like he'd had more than enough to last him a week. I found some form of plastic foamy toy thing in their loch, so I took it out with the intention of taking it back to the van and throwing it out, and he came out and said, "Excuse me, did you find that in the loch?" And I went, "Yep." And he went, "Oh, it's mine, we threw it in and lost track of it." Really? So I wish people would have more consideration. This is a single track road. It's not a double track road, it's a single track road. If a fire engine has to come down here, he's gonna have no whims whatsoever about ploughing into your vehicle because you're illegally parked. Now, I'm not saying don't come here and have fun. What I'm saying is be more bloody considerate of the other people that are here and the people that want to drive through. It's not a one-way road, it runs both ways. And honestly, I bloody hate people, I really do. They are so stupid and selfish and self-centred that they think the world revolves around them. Well, people, I hate to tell you this, but it doesn't. And I don't know, I just give up. I want to spoil things for the rest of us. I mean, yes, I know we've been here before and lads have been here, put their tents up, had a party and gone in the morning and left everything when they've gone home because they can't be bothered taking it down. I'm not saying everybody's like that, but honestly, the people that seem to care about the countryside are getting fewer and far between, and all we're left with is the idiots that go out and buy their tents and all the equipment out at Tesco's, Aldi's, Halfords, wherever, for a pittance, and then go out, have the fun and forget to take the damn stuff home. You know, you can use tents more than once, people. They are reusable. So this is actually hurting my arm because this camera's not actually made for doing this, even though I'm doing it. I do wish people would put their brains in gear. You know, it's that little grey matter that's in the top of your head. I just get sick. Anyway, rant over for the time being. I've already filled one bag from the beach. I've got a new thing to add to the list, a t-shirt. And when I was going towards the beach, two young lads were coming the other way. I think they're Polish, I'm not sure, but they certainly weren't speaking English. And they got in the car, and instead of reversing out the way they came in, the driver decided, oh, I'll just go round the corner. All I heard was a bang and I thought, I ain't stopping. You got yourself in that mess, kid, get yourself out. And they were still there when I came back. Somebody obviously came to help him because David watched them and said, yep, they're out. But they could have just as easily broken an axle. The bang I heard, I have no idea what they hit. Hey ho. Accidents happen. So, sorry for the rant. Well, I'm not really. I have to vent somewhere. But it's ridiculous. I mean, I'm all for people enjoying themselves. As long as they remember to leave it in a state where someone else can come and enjoy it as much as they did. And the estate isn't here to clean up everybody else's crap. Because the estate could just as easily stop us parking here. So, I will say goodbye for now. I'm actually videoing this here because I'm sheltered by the wind. I'm just going to the end of this fence and I'm going to turn around and go back. And I'm not stopping because I just get angry looking at these idiots. And I'm sorry if you're not an idiot, but at the minute I'm probably tarring everybody with the same brush. But they really do look like they're just out to enjoy themselves. Here's hoping they tidy up tomorrow. They're not coming this way tomorrow, so I won't know. Or I might just come back this way and get my heart broke all over again. Okay, that's it. I've had it.
Thank you for watching Desmonds Donders. And whatever you're doing in the countryside, please take nothing but memories and leave nothing but tracks. Please subscribe and ring that bell to be notified of our future videos.